lesson will cover how to find the average speed of the whole journey. When it comes to the average speed, you just simply think that, oh, I can calculate the mean of different speed. But it doesn't work that way. So now this lesson will tell you the formula for finding the average speed of the whole journey. Let's have a look. Now, so average speed of the whole journey, make sure it's a whole journey, then you must think about the total distance and then total time. Then what you need to do is, same as finding the speed, you divide the total distance by the total time. So let's practice this with the example. Just make sure it's not a mean of different speed, okay? Now let's see. Now, the man cycled the distance of 30 miles in 2.5 hours, then walked 6 miles in 1.5 hours. What was his average speed for the whole journey? Pause the video and try by yourself. He's cycling, right, for 30 miles. Then it takes 2.5 hours. Then now he walked. So as you can see different sections, right, with the different speed. So distance is 6 miles. Then time is 1.5 hours. Definitely, they've got a different speed. We need to find the average speed of the whole journey. So as we can see, total distance divided by total time. So you need to add in all the distance. That is 36. You need to add all the time. That is 4 hours. So our average speed is 9 then mile per hour. This is how you calculate the average speed. Make sure you need to take its average speed of the entire journey, and also you need to find the total distance and the total time. When you read the question, try to identify your parts. Car travels 30 km at 60 km per hour, then it travels 10 km at a speed of 30 km per hour. You can see the different speed. So what was the car's average speed for the 40 km journey? Now always a drawing is really helpful. So now distance of 30 km and then you can see speed, that is 60 km per hour. Then you've got another 10 km journey, right? So another 10 km for your distance, and then speed is 30 km per hour. Then now average speed for the 40 km is the entire journey, right? Please don't calculate the mean of speed. As you can see, you've got a speed 60 and 30. You feel like you need to add them together and divide by 2. But I said it's not working like that way. So average speed of whole journey is you add total distance, divide by total time. So we know the total distance. 30 add 10, that is 40. We don't know the time. So our mission is finding the time for both of section. Now, time. Let's calculate it. So how can you calculate time? Remember your speed triangle. Time is distance divided by speed. For the first section, that is distance divided by speed. 30 divided by 60 is a half. Then next one is a 1/3. So what we need to do is we need to add in half and 1/3. So that gives you 40 miles. And then let's see, it's 5/6, right? 5/6. Now 40 divided by 5/6, and then 40 times, flip over, yes, 6/5, then divide it, then 48. So check your unit kilometer per hour is our average speed of the whole journey. Train travels 60 km at 60 km per hour. That is a speed. Then Again, another 60 kilometer at speed of 120 kilometer per hour. We need to find the average speed for 120. We know that that is the whole journey, right? So finding the whole journey. So let's draw it. We've got a 60 kilometer section. That is the distance is 60 kilometer, but you've got a different speed. And our missing value is a time. Then the other section, distance is 60 kilometer. Then our speed is 120 kilometer per hour. Then time is missing. Let's see again. Our average speed for the entire journey is TD divided by TT. That is the total distance divided by total time. But we've got a missing value, that is time. So time is, it's easy to find the time for the first journey because 60 kilometer per hour, that means it's 1 hour, right? Then our second journey, distance divided by speed is 60 divided by 120. It's a half an hour. So our total distance is 60, add 60, that makes 120. Then our time is 1.5 hour. Now let's calculate them. 120 divided by 1.5. So now you times it and change this into the improper fraction and flip over. So 2/3, then simplify it. Then you've got a 40 times 2, 80 units. Kilometer per hour is our average speed of the whole journey. Karen walked 7.5 miles in 2 hours 10 minutes. Then she travels further 6.25 miles by bus. Then it took 20 minutes. You need to find the average speed of the whole journey is important. You must check whole journey because sometimes just normal speed is written as the average speed. Don't get confused with it. Average speed means it's the whole journey of your average speed. Okay, now let's see. Let's draw it. She actually walked. Distance is 7.5 miles. Then it takes 2 hours and 10 minutes. Let's change the minutes directly into the fraction, otherwise you will get confused. Say 2 and 10 60th. Now the bus section, your distance is 6.25 and then it takes only 20 minutes into hours, so 20 out of 60. Let's calculate our average speed. Average speed is total distance divided by total time. So adding the distance, 13.75, adding the time, that is 2 and 30 out of 60. So now let's see. 13, I'm going to change this into fraction. 1,375 hundredth divided by 2.5. Right? Now let's see. 1,375 over 100 times. Since we know that 2.5 is 5/2, so let's change this into times, then flip over the 5/2. So it gives you 2/5. Then let's simplify it. Then simplify by 5. Then 275 divided by 5 again. 10 and you can see 55. So that is 55 tenths. Add a decimal 5.5 and check the unit. Miles per hour. This is our answer. Mike traveled from Cambridge to London. Then distance between two cities is 55 miles and the speed is 60 miles per hour. He returned to Cambridge and then different speed, that's 30 miles per hour. Then you need to find the average speed from Cambridge to London, and that means from London to Cambridge, right? So now let's see. First begins with Cambridge to London, then he came back to Cambridge, right? First section, his distance is 55 miles. Then speed is 60 miles per hour. Then when he came back, distance, it didn't say, but we know that because it's the same distance, right? So 55 mile, then speed is 30. This one is a bit tricky because you need to find out the distance of your way back, but realize that it's two different cities has got the same distance. Now, what's missing to find our average speed? That is, we need to figure out our time, right? Let's see, our formula for time is distance divided by speed, 55 divided by 60. Then on your way back, 55 miles divided by 30. Now I'm going to change it into 60 because it's easy to calculate. Then let's calculate our average speed, dt, distance, total distance divided by tt, total time. Distance is 55, add 55, that is 110. Then we need to add in our time, 165 60th. Then let's calculate our average speed. So now 110 divided by 165 60th. So you change division into times. Then 110 times 60 out of 165. When you calculate it, your answer is 40. So the answer for this question is 40 miles per hour. This is our last question. So Sean drives from Manchester to Gretna Green. He drives at an average speed of 50 miles per hour for 3 hours of journey. But don't get confused. It says it's average speed. It's not an average speed of the whole journey. Okay? You can just deal it as a just normal speed. Then he has 150 miles to drive to get to the Gretna Green. Sean drives this 150 miles, and again you got average speed of 30 miles per hour. So it's just normal speed. Then Sean says, my average speed from Manchester to the Gretna Green was 40 miles per hour. Then here, the average speed is different from the average speed on the question, because this average speed is talking about the whole journey, right? So this average speed is the one we've been talking about. Okay, now our final goal is finding that whether the Sean's statement is right or wrong. Drawing is always helpful. So let's see, Manchester, Gretna Green. Then the first part, he's got a speed of 50 miles per hour, and then it takes 3 hours. But we don't know the distance, right? Distance is missing. Another part, we know the distance. That is, it says it's 150 miles, right? Then we know the speed. It says 30 miles per hour, but we don't know the speed. So we've got a distance missing and the time missing. That's why we need to calculate them quickly. So distance is speed times time. So 50 times 3 hours, that is 150 miles. Then speed is distance divided by speed. So 150 divided by 30, then we can see it takes 5 hours. Now we can calculate our average speed. So adding the distance, that is total distance is 300. Then we need to find our total time. That is 3 add 5 is 8 hours. Then our average speed is 300 divided by 8. That gives you, I'm going to calculate it in my head, 37.5. There you got miles per hour. This is our average speed. But Sean says average speed is 40 miles per hour. So it's not the same. So we can say his statement is wrong. Right, so this is the end of the lesson. So I really want you to remember 2 things about average speed. So first one is, from your question, you definitely can see the 2 different speeds, and you really, feel like you need to add 2 different speeds. add them together and divide by 2. That is the mean of speed, right? You really want to calculate average speed that way, but I said that's wrong. So always average speed of the journey, whole journey is you find the total distance, TD, and you divide by TT, total time. That is how you calculate your average speed. And then second thing you need to remember is sometimes the question is talking about average speed for just part of speed. Don't get confused with it. Average speed means total journey. When the question is talking about the total journey of average speed, you use total distance divided by total time. As always, thank you for your focus, and I will see you at next lesson. Bye.